Howdy folks, Jamboree here. Season of Chucky is about to end on Puppet Panic as I review the latest installment in the franchise, the Child's Play Remake. The Castline Corporation have just released a new doll line called Buddy. These are toys with artificial intelligence and the ability to be connected to household appliances. In Vietnam, a disgruntled employee decides to set one Buddy doll to evil mode before committing suicide. Meanwhile, Andy Barkley has just moved into a new apartment with his mother, but he's struggling to make friends. His mum gets him a Buddy doll as a present to help cheer him up, but it's this Buddy, who goes by the name of Chucky, that was hacked by the Vietnamese employee. And this robotic doll starts to kill anyone it sees as a threat to his friendship with Andy. As a horror movie, this Child's Play remake isn't exactly scary. Sure, it could be creepy at times, in a sickly, disturbing sort of way, but I wouldn't say it frightened me or left an overall chilling impression. The problem is that Chucky is introduced as a doll who is programmed to be evil, with glowing red eyes to help indicate this fact, so we know right away that he's going to cause violence and mayhem. There's nothing unsuspecting about this doll, because the film is far from subtle about its foreshadowing. Heck, there are times when you might wonder why our characters don't take action sooner. It's more than obvious that this doll isn't stable on a mechanical level. Couple this with a heavy dependence on jump scares to unsettle audiences, and we have a horror movie that ignores the golden rule of less is more, trying way too hard to be transparent with the audience. Chucky lacks his own character too, because he's far less human and his intentions have been oversimplified. He's now just a piece of malfunctioning hardware that parrots those around him.
Now say this is for Tupac.
Do you want to sing the Buddy song?
No, say this is for Tupac and stab the asshole. Come on.
But I want
You want this to go viral. Are you for real?
You are my buddy.
That's enough.
The film attempts to make him seem like an innocent toy that's been corrupted by his interactions or influences. But that doesn't work when it's being made clear in the opening that he's already set to evil mode. The film is trying to have Chucky be both inherently malicious and a child's best friend gone rogue, which creates a disjointed sense of motivation for him as a villain. It doesn't help that the Buddy doll design is way too on the nose, resembling a weird, dated ventriloquist dummy more than a modern toy, putting emphasis on his creepiness above the plausibility of his appeal as a piece of smart technology. The idea of updating Chucky into a modern gadget may sound cool on paper, but this isn't how robot toys in the 2010s looked, and that takes away a certain believability. There's a lot of wasted potential regarding the film's theme of technology too. The movie only dips its toes into the subject, making blanket observations about society's relationship with mobile gadgets, from young kids' attachment to their phones to the practical risks of voice-activated household appliances. Everything this film satirizes has already been memed on the internet or spoofed in most modern comedies. It's not really saying anything new. The film mainly uses technology as a gimmick to inspire the kills, which is fine, I guess, as it is interesting seeing Chucky being empowered by his freedom to control machines. But it also means that the movie's sci-fi elements end up being shallow, and the film becomes yet another slasher story. Even when the film does use technology as a thematic device within the story, it comes off as too literal. Like Chucky will play back recordings of what Andy has said in private to taunt him, which are supposed to show how this doll has become an extension of Andy's deep-seated feelings. But it just ends up taking a psychological metaphor to a surface-level extreme. But what about the human characters? Do they make up for Chucky not being scary? Most of the characters are pretty one-dimensional and fit comfortably into the kinds of tropes we expect from many horror films. The lonely teenager trying to fit in, the evil stepfather who threatens him, the local token kid characters he befriends, etc, etc. The movie doesn't really do much with these characters, only letting the templates for their tropes define them and never fleshing them out beyond their initial roles in the story. Andy also has to wear hearing aids. While I respect the film for embracing deaf representation, the movie very, very rarely addresses his disability, and a hearing aid just becomes a minor novelty rather than an opportunity to explore deaf identity. However, what the film lacks in characterization, it makes up for in their interactions. Andy's mum had him at a young age, so their relationship is very laid back and based on a shared sense of humour.
It's just, this thing is for like little kids now. It came out like a year ago.
Okay, I know it's stupid, but I thought it'd be funny. Come on. Let's try it. Just remember it's refurbished, so it might not work perfectly.
It's a fresh change of pace to see a parent that's not overly strict, but also trying her best as a mother.
What is wrong with you?
What's going on? Are you okay?
Detective Mike, who is investigating the local murders, has a beautiful and believable relationship with his mum too. They often sass each other or get into disagreements, but their love for each other is very heartfelt and pure.
The only thing not safe around here is your cooking.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Poor Andy.
Oh,
Gotta
like instant.
suffer.
It's good. I think it's good.
You
Thank
know
you.
what?
Thank
you
you,
are
Andy.
just too sweet for your own good, Andy. That's all. Don't be influenced by him.
I learned my cooking from you, you know.
Yeah, because I can cook.
Making his mother's eventual death genuinely sad and turns the murders into something more personal for the detective. While I will say that this is a flawed film, the last thing I would call it is boring. Much like Bride and Seed of Chucky, it has this campy black comedy to it that I enjoyed. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek self-awareness behind the movie, as it fully embraces the silliness of a killer doll character, giving Chucky cheesy one-liners to quip and over-the-top murders to commit. Chucky himself may lack personality, but the film does have fun making a robotic doll go on violent rampages while regurgitating immature things he's heard kids say.
Time to open you up. Let's see what we're dealing with.
Warning, device overheating. Warning, device.
There's also a subplot involving Andy trying to dispose of his dead stepfather's head that turns into a goofy sitcom setup that's both tense and funny.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Andy. Why are you not in school?
Crazy diarrhea.
Okay, got it. What is that?
It's a present.
Present? For who?
The old lady down the hall because she helps me with homework.
But the scene I laughed the most at was this bit, in which a buddy mascot is slashed in the throat, and this happens. It's so freaking ridiculous that it's hilarious. So what about the puppetry, the main focus of this review series? 6 different animatronic puppets were used to portray Chucky, with 3 or 4 puppeteers behind his animation. His movement is noticeably mechanical and stiff, but because Chucky is supposed to be a robotic toy in this version of Child's Play, that actually works in the movie's favour. Like I said earlier on, I'm not a fan of Chucky's redesign. I also find it distracting how he has a glowing finger to control technology, because it just makes him look like E.T. You may be wondering what I think of Mark Hamill's take on Chucky's voice. He goes for a very different route to Brad Dourif, channeling a Sesame Street kind of character, like Elmo or Grover. This certainly fits the doll, but I will admit that Hamill lays the creepiness on a bit too thick.
Do you want to sing the buddy song before bed?
No, I'm good.
You are my buddy until the end. More than a buddy, you're my best friend.
Which plays into the movie's problem of planting the suspense too early, and overall lack of unsuspecting tension. To conclude, this Child's Play remake is disappointingly uninspired as a horror film, never really being that scary, and only exploring its themes of technology, deafness, and childhood abandonment on a surface level. As a Chucky movie, it's missing the charm and appeal of the original villain, while also not knowing what kind of motive to give its own take on the character. I really think the film could have done with detaching itself from the Child's Play brand and going for its own thing, because of all the baggage that comes with the Chucky legacy. However, as a campy, fun tribute to 80s slasher movies, it's quite entertaining in a silly sort of way. It lacks the suspense and chills of the original Child's Play, but its sense of humour and retro style sort of compensate for that. So that's it for Season of Chucky on Puppet Panic. I hope you enjoyed it. I've been Jamboriki, and feel free to like, subscribe and share. So what am I going to be reviewing for the next episode of Puppet Panic? Well, October's coming up, so let's do something Halloween-y and a little bit nostalgic too. Goosebumps. Cheerio, folks.